Problems, problems, problems. With social security, with accounting, with VAT, with tax refunds, and so on and so forth. If you know what that's like with your Cyprus Limited, or at least have some concerns about it, then make sure to watch the following video all the way to the end. Hello and welcome. My name is Florian Wilk. I am the Managing Director of CMC here in Larnaka and Paphos on Cyprus, the beautiful Mediterranean island. And in today's video, the topic is problems with Cypriot accounting and tax consulting with various information requests, social security, and so on. There are a whole bunch of things that can simply go wrong. And lately, I've actually been getting more and more inquiries from entrepreneurs who have already been here in Cyprus for 1, 2, sometimes even 3 or 4 years. And they say, I just don't feel comfortable anymore. I've already tried 1 or 2 service providers, but somehow it's not working out. The communication isn't good, the accounting isn't being done at all, or not being done on time. We've had visits from the Social Insurance Authority, payments haven't gone through. The deadlines are way too tight, or the information just comes too late for us to even know certain deadlines exist, and so on and so forth. And that personally annoys me a bit because it just doesn't have to be that way. If you have clear professional communication, if you brief and prepare your clients well for certain things, then none of this is necessary at all. And I think these are often simply communication issues. Because of course someone might not speak perfect business English. That can be the case on the provider's side, on the client's side, or even both. And then misunderstandings arise. On top of that, many providers aren't really familiar with these kinds of emigration mandates. I recently spoke with someone who has now switched over to us, so to speak. He was told that you have to be in Cyprus for 90 days for the non-dom. And that, of course, those days have to be consecutive. Neither of which is true. As you'll know if you subscribe to my channel, it's actually a minimum stay of 60 days per year for non-dom status. And it doesn't have to be consecutive at all. You can divide those days up however you like. And of course, these are the kinds of things that unsettle people, that make them anxious and think, oh God, if I'm getting such contradictory information, who can I even trust anymore? What should I even believe at all? Yeah, and like I said, that's just not necessary. Another extreme case comes to mind. We had a client who had a company also for over 2 years in Cyprus where absolutely nothing was done by the provider, no reports were filed at all. I can only speculate as to why. Honestly, I have no idea. The result, however, was over 30,000 euros in fines. Thankfully, after many discussions, we were able to reduce those to a minimum. With the tax authorities, explained the situation, and were able to resolve the case simply by reasoning with them. But these are things you really don't need to go through. You truly don't need that. And that's why here are a few tips on what you should pay attention to in Cyprus when choosing an accountant, a tax advisor, or a law firm. There are many things to consider. Whether it's about setting up a company for which you need a lawyer or ongoing bookkeeping or even an auditor for the annual financial statement. And it's always extremely important to pay attention to the response times. How quickly do I get a reply to my WhatsApp or my email? Is it within 24 hours or do I sometimes have to wait a whole week? That's actually not that uncommon. How quickly can I get appointments? Do I get an appointment within 1 or 2 business days or do I have to wait 2 weeks for one? So is someone actually available or is someone already working at full capacity and really doesn't have any room for more clients? That happens, of course, too. Then another important point. Take a look at the office, check out how things are structured there, how organized it is, what the staff are like. Are people happy, friendly? Do they seem approachable? Are people stressed, overworked, or are there actually no employees at all and it's a one-man show or something like that? Yes, these are things you should definitely take a close look at. Also, what is the condition of the documents and the desks? Are there hundreds of documents piled up on a desk, or is everything neatly and tidily organized and recorded? Then, of course, is someone punctual? Do they keep their promises? If I say, hey, you'll get the offer by Friday, does it really arrive by Friday? Or do I have to wait until Tuesday and then remind them? Things like that are absolutely crucial, and unfortunately, I experience this in many areas. It's not just about tax matters, this happens in many areas in Cyprus. It's simply part of the mentality that things don't always run 100% smoothly and that you always have to follow up very closely. You get used to it over time. It can be a bit frustrating, but there's nothing you can do about it. Of course, we want to bring together the German and Cypriot mentalities, so to speak. So really pay attention to these things. The worst thing you can do is only focus on the price and make sure you don't pay more than 120 euros a month for accounting or something like that. That's already a price where you really have to start thinking about the quality and the reliability, because it just can't work for that kind of price. Anyone who knows how much good accounting software alone costs these days understands that you can't do accounting for 120 euros a month. That's just not possible in a serious way. That's important too. Otherwise, I think you just have to get an overall picture and then to some extent just let your gut feeling decide as well. And of course, not least, the language barrier also plays a certain role. If I speak the same native language, I always know what's being talked about. Or do I have to piece things together? I often see it. Clients speak really good English in everyday life. But when it comes to financial terms or tax terminology, then it often gets difficult and people end up talking past each other, and the result can only be a jumble of misunderstandings. That's why it's also important to know if there are native German speakers in the office. And now my call to you. If you find yourself in the situation where you're in Cyprus, maybe already with your company, and you're simply dissatisfied with the communication, deadlines aren't being met, maybe you've even had to pay a fine or things like that, then feel free to reach out to me for a conversation completely free of charge and without any obligation. I'm also happy to give you tips on what you can do to get a bit more out of your taxes. I often see entrepreneurs with setups in Cyprus that are okay from a tax perspective, and of course we already have a low tax burden in Cyprus, but where there are still many opportunities for optimization that go completely unused. There's no advice given in that direction at all. Instead, people just blindly do what's always been done. So to speak, just doing what's always been done. So I'm happy to give you tips on that as well, completely free of charge and without any obligation. I'm glad if I can help you. And if you decide to hire us to handle your accounting advice, that's of course great, and then we can decide to work together for the coming years. But if you say, Florian, thanks for the tips, I'll gladly take them, but I'll stick with my current firm, that's absolutely fine too. There really is absolutely no obligation in this conversation. So what's important to me is to help you, to support you, especially if you're a German-speaking entrepreneur here in Cyprus and you feel addressed by this and you're having issues with accounting, social security, taxes or VAT, then feel free to book an appointment. You'll find a link below this video where you can choose an appointment to talk with me. As I said, completely free of charge and without any obligation. And then we'll talk about your plans. And if you'd like, my team and I are also happy to support you in handling your tax and legal matters here in Cyprus. Thank you very much for your attention. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And if you subscribe to the channel, please also don't forget to activate the bell so you'll be regularly informed about new videos. So thank you very much.